Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum, and this is another high-level game between a 2000 plus 501 player, Dillo, and the red player from the 201 server, also 2000 plus. So blue will be playing Quick Supply Specialist, and will be against Rhino Specialist. All right, let's take a look at the board. Stormcallers are naturally the predators of slow moving fans, and blue is going to have a bit of a problem with the fans. I think because this is round one, you have to decide whether I want to have more chaff clear or I just want to have chaff and more distraction against the stormcallers. He understands that he is up against three sets of crawlers, and he understands that there will be probably some type of anti-air, whether it's in the form of marksman or in the form of fans. And of course, unlike red, blue does not have any built-in chaff clear in his initial unit set, so he'll have to decide like how he wants to respond to that. So I guess the decision right now is just distractions. Distraction crawlers will move forward. It will tank the initial volley, and the volley will miss, and hopefully the subsequent volley won't do too much damage, allowing the fans to do a bit of a chaff clear on its own. So let's see if it works out. Blue is going with a one-sided strategy. I think this is good in the sense that you understand that you don't have a lot of chaff clear and you're trying to pull most of the units to one side anyway. So by putting them extremely forward while keeping the other side in the back footing, you can draw all, if not most of the units towards your front line. So as you can see right now, all of the Red's army, with the exception of some of these range units, are being drawn to the left side to engage with the man army. Now, unfortunately, there just isn't enough chaff clear. The fans themselves aren't doing that good of a job. But there are 4 Phoenixes left, and they are going to get tower, which means they are clearing up this squad of fans, allowing blue to take an early victory on round 1. Okay, round 2. Let's take a look at the cards. Some very interesting options. Fire Badgers is very good for chaff clear. I think especially against 3 squads of crawlers, Fire Badger is almost a no-brainer for blue. Typhoon could be a very good unit for red because red not only has a bit of a chaff problem, but he also has a Phoenix problem. So it's either between Marksman or Typhoon. I wouldn't mind picking the Marksman as well, but I just feel like the chaff clear is just a slightly weaker. I think if red can deal with the Fire Badgers, with the Typhoon and with the combination of his chaff, he should be able to take down these Phoenixes. He can go a bit riskier and go with the Marksman. Now, the Marksmen are excellent at dealing with the Fire Badgers. However, it does not provide any sort of chaff clear, so that is going to be a bit of a problem. Somehow, red decided to pick the Fire Badgers. I don't believe this is the right choice. There isn't enough crawlers. I mean, there's really only two sets of crawlers. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Fire Badger is the right pick. I guess red really wanted to counter the Phoenixes with its own Phoenixes, but then you're kind of in the same race and your opponent already had a head start. Not sure if I agree with the decision. I think it gave him... He'll lose tempo by doing this because he's purely responding and not creating new problems onto this board. So let's see if it works out for him. But for now, I am really liking the blues board. He even added a cheeky Stormcaller knowing that there's no units in front of the tower. So he is able to capture the tower right away, allowing all his units just to run down and destroy the strong side. Absolutely brutal play here. All right, so very good tactical play from Dillo. All right, here are the cards. Redeployment is interesting, and though both are picked, I think is a no-brainer for blue because I don't think this trick is going to work multiple times, and those Stormcrawlers are quite good, so it might be worthwhile to just maybe get that Stormcrawler to another place. All right, so Stormcrawlers are now added to the front line here, and I love the way that he plays Stormcrawlers. Very aggressive, but not too aggressive, right? Because we know that these crawlers are going to run ahead. But the thing with having aggressive Stormcrawlers is that these guys will always be shooting at something for the entirety of this turn. All right, so for red, there's some chaff at the front, but I still very much think that red is behind in tempo. There is absolutely nothing that red is currently doing that can pose a threat to blue. Blue continues to add on to this tempo, adding more fire badgers in the corner. Very pesky fire badgers to deal with because you can't just run them over with chaff. You have to have a dedicated response. And not only that, fire badgers are quite tanky, which means these crawlers are going to be pulled and these fans are going to be pulled, throwing off the timing of his chaff waves. So a lot of very thoughtful strategy, a lot of high tempo play here from red. And finally, there's a bit of a tempo movement from our red player as well with the introduction of these crawlers. These crawlers will take on and destroy both the crawlers and the fans here. So that is at least a bit of good news for our red player here. Looking at the front, these phoenixes are level, which means they're picking up these fire badgers quickly. And once the fire badgers are gone, there really isn't any chaff here, which, as you can see here, just being run over by chaff. Now, we did get a tower debuff, which means the Stormcrawlers can put in the work, but I think it's just too little too late. And with the tower debuff of this one, blue is once again taking the round. All right, round 4. Incendiary is excellent. Both boards are heavy with chaff with very minimal of any other kind of units. It is round 4, so there will be a power spike for the red side with the Rhino. I think fire is very good for red, right? Not only it gets the chaff, it also gets the Stormcrawlers. I'm not entirely sure this is the best place for the fire. I will put it a little bit ahead, maybe on the line where the middle line of the fire kind of stick onto the line here. I understand the argument for kind of putting shields down, but the shield cannot cover the line. You can only go, can put shield like right here, and the bubble will cover like right this way. So if you put your fire sort of on the line, you can at least get about 20 meters of fire, which is usually enough to kill the majority of, it will definitely kill all the fans. I think the crawlers, because they only have 307 in HP, which means they can only survive at most a second in the fire, and they're not going to cross this in a second. So having this a little bit forward is a little better. I don't understand the decision to add even more crawlers at the front. If you're putting fire here, it makes no sense to me. I feel like these crawlers are better served even trying to flank on the side maybe, or even just put him in the middle. Maybe I think this is more of a distraction crawler. It's now joining more aggro from all these units. All right, so yeah, the big Rhino is putting a lot of work. It's doing the tanking and allowing the phoenixes to really get in there and do the damage. Okay, so the right hand side, the phoenix is just not going to get the Rhino. Left hand side is also winning because the chaff all died. And as you can see from the last game, the biggest problem with red at that point was just chaff clear. The level 2 phoenixes gunned down those fire badgers very quickly. So with the chaff cleared, I think he's now back into this game. So excellent tempo switch. Now, it wasn't a permanent tempo switch because it was just a fire round. So now let's see how can red keep a tempo advantage. Blue picked the Scorpions. Looking at the board, I think the Scorpions are primarily to deal with the Fire Badgers, and also they will contribute to the destruction of the Rhino as well. Scorpions is also picked by red. I suppose it does make a bit of sense. Not as much, because there's really not a lot of Fire Badgers. There's one squad at the front that they have to deal with, and this really super delay Fire Badger. Usually doesn't make sense when you invest too heavily into Scorpions. And just as I'm saying this, he did sell one of the Scorpions, leaving just the one to deal with the Fire Badgers at the front. So very efficient play here. Continues to add on more Fire Badgers to deal with the chaff problem. So he realizes that once the chaffs are gone, you have a better chance with these concentrated Stormcaller and now leveled Phoenixes. I would much prefer keeping the Scorpion right here in the middle, but I think he was expecting some sort of redeployment of the Fire Badgers. That's why he had it on the side. Mustangs are being added. I don't believe Mustangs are being added as a response to some sort of a tempo play here. I think Blue might be setting up the board for a later game, either in the form of War Factory or could be in the form of Fortresses, but we'll see. They are already a few squads of Phoenixes left, so Fortress with anti-air barrage is a good option. Mustangs don't do very well against ranged Fire Badgers because they're just so tanky. But let's see what the strategy for Blue is, and let's see if it works out for him in the end. Improved Fortresses, just the card we need. Okay. Iron Blast from red. Now, is Blue going Fortresses? Nope. Not taking Improved Fortresses, just going to go with regular Fortresses. Makes sense. It is a bit more expensive. I think if you take Improved, you actually wouldn't be able to have the money to get technology. Now the question is he going to get a technology? This is a level 3 Phoenix, which means it will not be killed with just one shot of the anti-air barrage. The level 2 Phoenix will. Alright, looks like the shield is the tech choice of the day. With the loan, okay. Range on the Mustangs, shield on the Fortresses. The game plan is essentially, let's get rid of the Fire Badgers, and then the Mustangs will kill everything else. That's pretty much it. I wouldn't be surprised if you start selling the Scorpions in favor of more tech or even more Fortresses. But I think he definitely needs a more advanced solution to these Phoenixes, because they're pop these shield bubbles so quickly that your Mustangs really aren't going to get a lot of value in. All right. Scorpions on the side is dealing a lot of damage. Now, the Phoenixes are going up there to deal with the Scorpions. Fire coming from our red player, anticipating some sort of Fortress Mustang play. So once the Fortress shield is gone, the fire is going to be excellent against the Mustangs. So now this is a very tricky situation for the blue player. If you're paying attention to the left-hand side, you'll notice that the Fortress shield really didn't hold up for that long. And once the Fortress shields are gone, these Fire Badgers were able to just move in and clear up any sort of chaff that run ahead of these Fortresses. So a bit of a tough situation for our blue player. He has been playing well for the first 3 or 4 turns until the Rhino. And then after that, there seems to be a tempo switch from the red player. And right now, blue is kind of stuck on fixing a problem. I still very much prefer the anti-air barrage. it does have a range of 180, so it does outrange the Phoenixes and it eliminates this threat. Red also recognized this problem. It seems like the only reason to add shield on here is for the anti-missile barrage. And Red believes that once the fortresses are being popped by these Phoenixes, the rest is pretty simple. And here is the final round, I believe. This is a very deadly combination. He's going to draw all these units over to the side, and if he puts oil here, he's going to ignite and kill everything. There's a boat on the far side. Potentially can get the tower, but I'm not too sure. These storm crawlers are going to make short work of these crawlers, and once the boat arrives, he should be able to get these Phoenixes. That's 2 volleys from that boat. Just look how quickly this shield is getting popped by these level 3 Phoenixes. Alright, so here comes the barbecue. Oh my god, the the oil actually didn't extend far enough. That was very awkward, but that's okay because in the next turn that will happen. But that was just a bit awkward. Even looking at right now, I don't think... you know what? He got tower. He does have a boat. So there could still be a chance. As long as all these Mustangs come in and deal with these Phoenixes. Oh yeah. Okay. Good play. That was just super awkward. Imagine if this blue Mustang didn't exist because the fire was ignited. Very, very close game. Okay. Shield drop was insta-picked by blue. I think portable shield is also a good option. Right now, blue just does not have a lot of meat. Portable shield on any one of these fire badgers could be very good. Red is also facing a bit of a problem with being outscaled because right now there's already 3 fortresses on the board and he does not really have a dedicated anti-fortress units with the exception of these Phoenixes. For example, if Fortress did decide to get anti-air barrage, which I still think is excellent technology, I'm just not sure. All right, let's get those blue Mustangs out of the way. Very good play. But out of the way where? Up here? Yeah, that makes sense. These crawlers are just going to burn. Not entirely sure. Maybe. Get the crawler. Shoots the fire badger. Okay. On the right hand side, we're going to have incendiary. This is the incendiary round coming back. On the line here, I'll probably kill more of Red's chaff than it does for Blues. Napalm gets picked. Super chaff clear. And finally, anti-air barrage. I think the round might actually go to blue. I'm not entirely sure. Because right now, the only thing that's really stopping these fortresses are these Phoenixes. And with the anti-air barrage, it might become kind of close. Let's just see how many anti-air barrage can blue actually do. And it doesn't look like that many. These 2 fortresses were instantly taken down. Napalm is just a little too much. Oh yeah. Okay. Not too good. But it is awkward because the oil on the side never was ignited, even though Red is gonna take this round. So that was a very awkward oil. Still good. Look at the field here. I think blue really would have had a chance if he picked the anti-air barrage a bit sooner, and instead of going shield, just simply add a few more fans up here to deal with whatever's up front. But overall, I think this is a good game, and this is a great example of kind of watching how tempo is being switched at a certain turn and being held by a red player. So I hope you enjoyed this game, and I hope to see you on the next one.